Zheng Yi Sao was the most dangerous and revered pirate to have existed. Don't believe me? Stick around to hear the facts. This story begins more than 200 years ago when a woman named Shi Yang, who was born in Guangzhou, China, around 1775 to a poverty-stricken family. It is suspected that Yang was of a boat-dwelling people who mainly occupied Shanghai, Macau, and Hong Kong. Not much else is known about her childhood and early years, up until she was forced into her life as a sex worker. Yang worked on a floating brothel in her 20s, and was known to be a shrewd businesswoman and the madame. She's said to have traded secrets from loose-lipped patrons for coin as well, though she seemed to have her sights on something bigger for herself when a successful pirate by the name of Zheng Yi visited her bordello. Either Zheng Yi asked Yang to marry him, or the cunning madame saw his potential benefit to her. For some background, piracy was lucrative and was often successful in evading and defeating Asian and European naval forces. Apparently, piracy was common among fishermen when monsoon season came and fishing wouldn't be reliable. Whichever way the story went, the two of them did get married in 1801 when she was 26 years old. Marriage to him bought her freedom, and she was brought along with him on his pirate escapades. After her marriage, she took on the name Zheng Yi Sao and had 2 sons with him. Sao's influence was active in the South China Sea from 1801 to 1810. At this time, the pirates of the region were fractured, and there was constant infighting as they competed for resources. Zheng Yi and Sao began working on an agreement that eventually led to the confederation of 6 pirate leaders that commanded a total of 1,800 ships and over 70,000 pirates. That's over 100 times the size of Blackbeard's fleets. In 1807, Zheng Yi was thrown overboard during a monsoon and was drowned. This left an empty role to be filled, one that Sao quickly took up. Apparently before they were married, Zheng Yi had kidnapped a boy that became his adopted son. At the time of Zheng Yi's death, this son was one of the fleet's leaders. Sao married him to get his support for her takeover of the supreme leadership, which is, questionable. At the height of this pirate empire, they were responsible for the terrorizing of the southern Chinese coast, murdering, robbing, and selling civilians into slavery. Besides doing pirate things, they also provided expensive paid protection services to the ships that needed to maneuver pirate-infested waters. To escape their wrath, merchant ships had to purchase a sort of passport from her. If the ship didn't have a passport, they were fair game for raiding. They also targeted salt ships, which became so successful that only 4 out of over 200 of the Imperial Navy's salt merchant ships remained outside of her control. There was a weird kind of code, though. Sao created systems to divide up stolen treasure into a welfare-like system among the fleets. Sao became so cunning and powerful that the Chinese, British, and Portuguese navies couldn't do anything to outman or outspend her. Her fleet saved particularly brutal treatment for the Navy soldiers that were caught as well. The Chinese Navy's saving grace was when infighting began among the fleets around 1810. Sao struck a bargain with the Imperial Navy. She'd surrender if she could keep a small fleet of about 30 ships, and was allowed to keep most of the treasure they collected or stole. And after the death of her adopted son turned husband, she returned to her hometown to raise their son they had together. She died a peaceful death at the age of 69, surrounded by the wealth she had amassed from her reign. So what can we learn from Zheng Yi Sao? A woman who was thrust into a life of poverty, a life where she had no choice as to who she could be, and had to make the best of her situation as a poor woman in southern China. One thing I took away from this was that, because I'd never heard of her until my mid-20s, she must have been truly powerful. Our world likes to dim the light of powerful women, but she was so strong that she made the Imperial Navy bend their knee to her. If that doesn't psych you up, I don't know what does. What I've decided to take away from my learnings about Zheng Yi Sao is that I'm capable of being powerful, even in a world that would rather see me be quiet. If you've gotten to this point, why don't you let me know your take on Zheng Yi Sao? Though her reign is not entirely admirable, she's one bad lady that deserves more recognition. Thank you so much for watching. It means the world to me. I hope to catch you next week for my next video. Bye!